the real talk shows, they stay up on the couch. Next up is a gal that I've known for many years. I mentioned before that I played soccer and baseball with her older brother, and her dad was a coach of mine, and that sort of thing, so it's great that they could make it here. And you beat me up before my lovely introduction. But anyways, I thought we'd introduce Shannon Simpson. She is the proud wife of a Surrey firefighter who's probably working today, right? And so we'll get to see the video. And to twins, too. So and then one of the things too is I thought it would be great. Again, I should have memorized which chapters and what. What chapter are you on?
I should know that.
Chapter 41, the $50 conversation. So she thought I was a real good investor, so her investment advisor, a financial planner, so she wanted to invest $50 for me to start, and see how it works. So, but thank you, Shannon. You are welcome. And Marty's not going to like it. So, from all the things that you have learned from this experience, if you little backstory is her husband and her have been clients of mine, and through conversations and so forth, we're sitting around a kitchen table, and they're offering me a glass of wine, and all that lovely stuff. And they were concerned that they weren't putting enough money into their RSPs. So I said, hey, that's great, I want to put in another $50. And I said, well, what if something unfortunate happens, knock on the wood? So we talked about critical illness insurance. It's one of the aspects of covering yourself, so you can, something God forbid happens to you, that you can have enough money to be able to take care of things health-wise and not have to rush back to work and so forth. So we'll get into that. But basically, it was all over a $50 conversation, actually, right? Because I said, hey, let's look at what $50 can get you if something, God forbid, happens. And 2.5 years later, I got a phone call from her husband saying that she had cancer. And so we'll carry on from there.
Yeah, I totally remember the day actually, sitting at the table. I remember where Kevin was sitting. And we were having this discussion around RSPs, and Marty was talking about, sorry, can you hear me? Marty was talking about life insurance, and Kevin actually brought up critical illness. And to be honest with you, I don't even think Marty and I knew what critical illness was. And so Kevin explained it to us, and I think at the end of the conversation, realizing that, okay, it's important to plan for the future, but maybe planning for the now is also something to be mindful of. So at the end of the evening, I think we ended up signing at the end of the evening. Kevin did a good job of convincing us that that would be a great thing to do, and I'm, of course, very grateful for that. So.
Yeah, so it's a conversation, you talk about life insurance and everything. I talked about in the joke about the will and all this. It's the most important thing to do, even before you start investing, get the will done. But it's one of those conversations you don't want to have, but of course, after you have it, the things in place, we look after the money side, we look after the life insurance side, and take us where you'd like to go.
I guess, after that conversation that we had, I'm not sure where you're wanting me to go here.
Well,
after the conversation we had, I think one of the things that Kevin had asked me before was how helpful that was after I did get the cancer diagnosis. And I think, of course, one thing is when you're going from 2 incomes to 1 income, and you're a young family. Abigail and Nolan, our twins, are only 1.5. And so having that extra stress when you're first diagnosed with young kids, a mortgage, lots of things going on in your life. And I am still quite involved in the cancer community, and I sit in a lot of circles, and I know the financial stress when you're diagnosed with cancer is really big, especially when you're young and you have so many things going on. Like, you know, when you're a little bit older, hopefully, you know, some of your mortgage is paid for and everything, but when you're younger and you've got young kids, you've got dependents, and you've got a new mortgage, it just makes it that much more stressful. And of course, we all know that stress can sort of make cancer worse. So to minimize the stress is always a good thing, and I think having that critical illness definitely helped alleviate my stress and help me focus more on healing myself.
I think around that time, Marty broke his elbow or something, right?
No, Marty had 2 broken hands, actually, when I got diagnosed with my twins were 1.5. So, yeah, having that financial help was definitely a major bonus, because we were able to have someone come in to help clean the house, and we had a girl who's still in our life, Shannon, our nanny, and she was there to look after the kids, and Marty would look after me, and so it was a great teamwork to have that in the house. So
I think one of the things about everyone, the taboo of not talking about money, husbands and wives not talking about money,
yeah,
or one spouse spending, one spouse saving, all that stuff, right? So even though it's only $50, you know, I think that the joke that I had was, you know, what's $50 going to get you, you know, after taxes? You know, it's you know, $25, $30 or something. How is that going to help you? And then that was one of the things too, is that we have the plan that was paid out, and you were able to live as less of a stress-less life as possible.
yeah,
Not having to rush back to work, not having to do a lot of the things that maybe you would have had to rush back to do to pay the mortgage and that sort of thing, right? So
yeah.
there's a little extra bonus because it was tax-free too, right? So
Yeah.
a little bit more, but that's just one of the things about the book, is just talking about money. To create some issues, of course, just have the issue, and you know, promise that you love each other after if you're in a relationship or something. But just money's a big thing, and that's one thing with the book about conversations with money, is just being able to just start the conversation and get it going like that. So, but Shannon and Marty have been great friends of mine. I think, you know, the people that I work with, I know Shannon from previous connections with her brother, but just being able to help a family like that is wonderful, and just seeing that the whole idea of having a conversation pay dividends rather than not worrying about it because it's never going to happen to me. So. Anything else you'd like to add last?
No, I think it was really great how Kevin showed us that, you know, paying attention not only just to the future, but to the now. And I just love how real Kevin always is. You know, he's the first guy, like, you know, a lot of financial planners might come into your house and say, oh yeah, you should invest this with me and invest that with me. But, you know, if he feels that it's, you know, instead it should go onto the mortgage or whatever, he's there to be real with you and honest and do what he would do. Which I
do
thought.
feel like a counselor sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But thank you very much, Shannon.
Thank you for having
Let's
me.
give it a